Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he, him pronouns. And this, once again, is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice of life game by Monte Cook Games. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously. Something, frog library, something. Let's go around and say hi to everybody, find out once again who they are and who they're playing. And we shall start with Djinnaya. Hello.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight and all of these nights, I'm playing Shah Gamelon, an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries. Yes, that was it. Shah Gamelon uses she, her pronouns.
Awesome. And now over to Wilde. Hello.
Yes, hello, I'm Wilde Engineer, he, they pronouns, and I am playing Shantano, an itinerant empath of the Order of Apostate who splinters into fragments. They use they, them pronouns.
Excellent. And now let us head over to Arras. Hello.
Hello, I am Arras. I use she, they pronouns, and I am playing Aroshka Ruzik, aromatic empath apostate who converses with everything, who uses she, her pronouns.
Cool. And finally over to Danielle. Hello.
Well, I'm Danielle at Raconteur on Twitter, and I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Vormera Vanas, aka Vor. And Vor is a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds.
Very cool. Well, once again, as a reminder, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we will back up and do something else. X can be used in or out of character, basically in any interaction with any during either on the stream or basically in our own communications on Discord or what have you. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil, essentially, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that is particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O, to let us know if we're still doing okay. So, we are on a train in a frog, in a library, a number of us are. Now, I'm going to see if I can recall here. First off, not everyone went into the library. And time passes differently inside the library from outside. More time, I believe, passes inside the library than passes outside as well. Okay. Yeah. This is one of those things where it's hard to know what descriptions to use because people's brains are all wired in different directions when it comes to time. So if, let me see what it says here as far as the traveling library. There it is. For every hour that passes, only a half hour passes outside of the library. So basically you get twice as much time if you're in there than you do when you're outside. Is kind of how that works. So who is it? Yes, we're all in, so some of us are inside a frog named Unger. So who is in the library at this point?
I am.
Okay, so everyone but Mac is in the library. And Mac is outside the library, basically, enacting a buddy cop show with an angel. if I recall correctly. Okay.
Sounds about right.
Okay, good. Good to know. We will be cutting back to that dramatically as we as from time to time as we see how this as we see how the criminal is being hunted down. But before I describe things inside the library, I think we all know what time it is. It's time for me to draw a card. And so let's see. The card. What has been drawn? Oh, hey. Okay.
Is it the library?
It is not the library, unfortunately. That would have been awesome. I have drawn the Revolutionary. This is the sovereign of secrets. Its meanings, again, are lust, sexuality, change, and destruction. Sorry, not distraction, destruction. I was distracted by the first couple of words there, which caused me not to see the destruction. But sovereign of the family of secrets. That's right. Now, the revolutionary is a force for change. Quite possibly the least secret of the family, the revolutionary is brazen and bold, changing what needs changing, even if through destruction or violence. The strong sexuality of the revolutionary is obvious, but this aspect is quite separate from the other. There is no suggestion of sexual violence here, but instead sincere passion and mutual attraction. In divination, generally considered a positive card, the revolutionary indicates sex and sexual energy, or alternatively change for the better. However, less often, the interpretation focuses on the destructive nature of change or the potential negative aspects of sexual desire, unless this card turn says that something important is coming to an end. Yeah, so you're going to come into the library in the porn section, I take it. I feel that's really all that can possibly mean.
Excuse me, it's erotic art?
Yes. Yes. You're in the erotic art section of the library at this point. Shelves upon shelves, going in considerably higher than one would think a frog could contain. And rows upon rows of books, old books. It's kind of like, and you know, in the far distance you can see, like, you can't really see the end of this library. That's the weird thing.
Or looks around and goes, I wonder if there's a card catalog somewhere.
There could be.
What would you search for?
Well, we're here to look for something about the unwritten, right? Try to figure out what that is.
So did we just look up the unwritten in the card catalog, or do we just look for what's missing from the card catalog and that's the unwritten?
Maybe both?
Okay.
I don't know.
We have enough people. We could take every potential, try different things.
I would say we try every possible avenue that we can.
Maybe it's unwritten because it's drawn.
Could
Look
be.
in the comic book section.
The graphic novel section.
Or if there's an audiophile section.
Ooh, true.
Okay, let's find the card catalog, and Shaw will cover her eyes a little bit and walk through the erotic art section.
Or does not cover her eyes and instead is probably like running fingers along the spines of all the books as she goes by.
Arushka, you hear a slight slight sort of chill of pleasure come from some of the books as that happens.
They're just like, keep that up. They like it.
Oh, okay. Just like, hello, books.
Yeah, the books are kind of Yeah, one of the books is like, hello. It's very, many of these books are giving very surprised hellos.
I'm assuming that's only to Aroshka is the only one who.
Yeah, no, Oroshka's the only one here who talks to inanimate objects, so that's.
I'm sorry. This sounds kind of like Ghost, in that Vor is interacting with the books, but Aroshka's the medium in which they communicate in between.
Yes. That's fair.
Well,
What is even happening?
We have like a pottery wheel or something. Maybe that'll be the card catalog. We'll have like a special scene.
Ooh, pottery's also unwritten.
True.
Yeah, is there a way for us to find the card catalog, or do we just need to like wander around until we find something?
I mean, you could generally speaking, usually it's perhaps somewhere hopefully centrally located.
Is there a way to tell like roughly? I know you said it's hard to see where where the library.
Yeah,
is.
that's the one problem. It's hard to know if this library has a center.
I'm gonna climb one of the bookcases.
Okay, excellent. This can only end well.
Yep.
So there are ladders.
Oh, perfect. It's my kind of library.
So you can, in fact, use one of those. But there are, in fairness, there are also handholds if you just want to climb it like a rock face.
No, I will go up the ladder. That seems safer, assuming it goes to the very top shelf.
It
If
does.
not, I will climb it like a rock face.
It does seem to go to the top shelf. The top shelf is approximately... we'll call it, 8 stories, yes. It's
8
approximately
stories?
8 stories up.
Oh my god, I want
That's
this
a lot of ladder.
All right, well, we're just gonna start climbing the ladder then.
Okay.
She probably gets several feet up and then turns around and looks down at everybody else and says, "Do you want to come with? I mean, I can go alone, but I'm sure the view will be amazing."
It looks very high.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Maybe yell down when you get to the top.
Sure.
Well, I'm guessing this library is a bit more tall than it is wide.
It's really hard to see how wide it is. That's the problem.
That's why I'm climbing the ladder.
I will climb up behind Vor on the ladder.
Okay.
Because what could possibly go wrong?
Of course. She was climbing the ladder. Start getting that that feeling that you do when you get to a certain point where your ears are starting to pop.
Oh my god.
You get to a certain altitude.
A bird flies by.
Yeah.
It's not a bird, it's a book. Just you flapping
Yes.
covers as wings.
Absolutely.
This is an excellent question, actually, and now I'm suddenly remembering. Mac, did you send Sagan in with them, or is Sagan out with you?
No, Sagan went with them.
Okay. Yes, there is a bird in here. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see him or not.
Yeah, he had said hello to me when we were walking in, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think Mac had him be visible for this. I think.
That's right.
You don't have to be clutching the thing the whole time to make that work, though. You can. But yeah, no, so yeah. So there is in fact a bird flying around. It's it's a raven. It's Max Raven is just kind of hanging out and just sort of like is kind of looking around. You can see that the wind is whipping by, and you sort of like it's a little misty once you get it. If you go up, do you go up all eight levels? Is that?
But yeah, I mean, once you're
Yeah,
going,
I mean,
you
I want
got
to
it.
get to the top so I can see where the card catalog is. That's the point.
All right. So you keep going.
I think we get about 2/3 up, and I look at Sagan flying around and go,
Yeah, he's like,
it occurs to me we could have just had the bird fly up. Never mind.
Shots down what?
Nothing. Just keep climbing.
Okay.
yeah, it took me a minute to, I was trying to figure out why you didn't ask, but I just assumed you wanted to do this yourself.
Well, we're not used to seeing you here. I don't know. Sometimes
yeah.
we're a little bit of a ready, fire, aim kind of crew, you see.
I kind of noticed. Yeah. And sort of, the little clouds are passing by. And,
I like that this library is so tall that it has weather.
you get to it.
Cloudy with
You
a
get to a
chance
point.
today.
Now you finally are reaching a point that you think you're gonna run out of ladder when you hit the top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to actually see above the stacks, it will require you to climb up on top of the bookcase.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to see if you're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm here to figure out where the card catalog is, and if there's any other important looking landmarks or features of this library that I can see from up here.
Sure. Okay. You climb up on top of the bookcase, and the ceiling is not too far from where you are. It's mist. And you are looking down upon a vast labyrinth of bookshelves. It spirals off into the distance. And the card catalog is... And there's a card catalog up here.
Up here?
Yes.
Oh.
We found it! I shout over the edge. We found it!
Shaw pulls herself up onto the thing and kind of like flops down on her back for a second, and you just hear like this jingling of all of her inner workings, like all these little metal pieces being like jingle, jingle, clank, clank, clank. She's like, oh good, it's here. I'm just gonna stay here for a second.
You see Vor's face just appear like upside down in your field of vision. Are you okay?
I'm fine. This is just very high. It's fine. It's fine.
Are you sure? It doesn't sound like you're fine.
No, I'm on an adventure.
Okay. If this isn't all right, and you need something,
No.
let me know.
No.
I'm gonna look at the card catalog while we're up here.
Yes, cards.
Yes. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Sagan is now sitting on top of the catalog and just sort of looking down. It's like there's a drawer labeled card catalog. That's kind of weird.
Wait, there's a drawer labeled card catalog in the card catalog?
Yeah.
This library has a card catalog for its card catalog.
I think it's something like that.
Oh, well, I'll start there, I guess.
Damn recursive, if you ask me. Yeah, it's like the first drawer. The rest of them, it has, basically, the A to Z thing going on.
Is this like it has multiple card catalogs, so there's a separate card catalog for all of the card catalogs?
Oh, I hope you is up here.
So, yeah, it looks like as you're starting to look through these, each of these. So, well, the card catalog drawer basically has a note on sections where all the other card catalogs are.
That's what I figured.
It's
yeah.
basically.
So we are looking at the porn card catalog right now. Nice.
Would you like to have a guess at how many drawers there are?
69.
Exactly.
Is it as vast as the internet?
Yeah, it's never ending. As you pull the drawer out, just more cards appear in
going.
the back of the drawer.
Oh no, we lost
Oh
Arras.
no.
Oh no. Hopefully all is all right. But yeah, the I was about to ask what was going on down below, but I'll hang on for a second. But yeah, this is basically, it'll show you where the different things in the library are. And yeah, this one is specifically porn. Apparently, each card catalog has 2 entries. One is floor and the other is ceiling.
Oh. So maybe some of them are on the ground. So maybe we don't have to climb all of the shelves to go through all of them.
Well, we're already up here. I mean, we could just jump from shelf to shelf, really.
You could do that if you so desire. The gap between sections is probably a little rough, but there are bridges, so
Oh.
it's possible. They're swinging rope bridges, you can see, kind of
That's awesome. I love this library.
between different
So,
between different shelves.
Okay.
I think
I was
Shaw's-
trying to review what we know about the unwritten.
One of you sees as, you know, I think Vor is looking through the catalog and Shaw is sort of looking around a little bit, and you see what looks kind of like a pterodactyl in the distance flat past.
I see the dinosaur section.
Ah, paleontology. Nice. So we know the rattlesnake nose of the unwritten is what we found out from the seer. And we know from Lady Volt and her elegance that the unwritten are loose.
Right.
So to me, that makes it sound like the unwritten are some kind of creature or thing, because loose implies that they are capable of movement.
Well, there are things.
Or some kind, yeah, some kind of maybe. Is there like a nature section, or like bestiaries, or like maybe some section that has magic stuff?
The answer to all of those questions is yes.
All right, well, that probably would be a good place to start, maybe. Sean?
I wonder if we shouldn't look at history, like cataclysms. I mean, the unwritten, when it's said, it's sort of brought up like something that we have already found, right? Like that we should know about. It's not like the unwritten and then it's got a footnote next to it. So maybe we have to look at other cataclysms, other times when the unwritten might have been around.
That's a good idea. Okay.
So history and bestiaries.
And maybe general arcana if both of those fail. Yeah?
Right. It seems like a library and a frog would all be about magic, but I suppose there might be a more specific section.
Yeah, I'm thinking of more of like a magical theory, maybe. But I would say that's probably our last resort.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with this place is there are too many options.
Yeah. Can we find like a section that's like nature and bestiaries and then a section that is history up here and like where to go to get to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Is
there a convenient map on the ceiling?
Well, it's basically there is a book of maps sitting on a shelf that is built into this catalog.
Oh, perfect.
That you can pull out and leaf through. It is chained to the to the catalog, but you can reference it.
Also, I can take images of it with my viewfinder
Yeah.
that I can then project later for us to look at.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Okay. Should we go back down to everyone else, or should we just take the bridges?
I mean, the bridges seem really nice, but it seems kind of rude to make everybody come up here.
I know. I'll just go over to the edge and shout down to everyone else, like, "Hey! So we know we found a map."
So what's been happening on the ground? What have Hiroshika and Shantano been up to while they've been climbing?
Well, we climbed 8 stories of ladder.
Yeah.
Shantano probably would have been following the shelf to see if they could get to an end. See if they could find the what part of the Dewey Decimal System they are at.
Yeah, the shelf does end at a point, eventually, and you do see other. You kind of were looking around, and you see sort of in the distance you see these other sections that have these big plates mounted on the side of the shelves. You do occasionally actually see what looks like a card catalog every now and then. It's fairly distant. Again, you know, now that you're actually at a point where you're at an intersection, you look all the way down and see that there are no walls, just mist, but in the distance, and you're nowhere near near where any of the mist starts.
Okay, turn over to Hiroshika and be like, "So, is there anything in particular you were looking for?"
No, I was just here to help look for the unwritten. Speaking of which, I'm going to scan the bookshelves for a likely looking book. Admittedly, we're in the porn section, but you never know. It's really highbrow porn out there.
Die if you find it in the porn section.
Right? And I'm going to be like, this is maybe a really weird question to ask a book, but have you ever heard of The Unwritten?
That sounds terrible.
I know, right? I guess it's a no then, though.
I mean, I haven't, but I mean, some of the older folks may have.
Are they nearby?
Well, probably if you look sort of around either history or literature, yeah, there's some some of the old if you got go to the section where they've got some of the epic tales and stuff like that. Those are the oldest.
Literature and history.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Good work. Thanks.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I can't think of anything that a book on pornography would like. Well, actually, yeah, I think you probably asked this of a book of erotic poetry, and so it's just basically going to say, oh, incidentally, there is opium hidden in here somewhere. If you would like to have some.
Oh, opium. I personally am good. But I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Just follow the dinosaurs. You'll eventually find where they hid it.
Oh, the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Looking for dinosaurs now.
I think it's going to be more or less at this point that Vor shouts down to the two of you. And what was it you were asking them? Or you were telling them you're...
I said, hey, we found a map up here. And there's bridges between the shelves, and we know where the history section is and the nature section is. Do you want to come up here? Should we go down there? How do y'all want to do this?
I lay on
well,
my.
I don't mind coming up.
So can we actually hear Vor from that?
It's
height?
very distant, but the voice does echo down to you. It does carry.
Oh, I pop a tiny little megaphone out of my little tool bracer and hand it to Vor.
Oh, thank you. Vor holds the megaphone, goes up and goes, "Can you hear me any better?"
Yes, much
Do I
clearer
need to
now.
repeat myself?
Meanwhile, in the bar, Mac is just doing this. Like,
Why is that frog so loud?
It's probably muffled because it's from inside the frog.
Yeah, there's this weird sort of thing coming out of the frog. But yeah. Yeah. So Vor has shouted this down via megaphone.
Should we hit up Roshka or?
Sure, yeah. Let's do it. And start climbing up the ladder.
Okay. So
And when I get up there, I'm gonna be like, so I asked for the porn books about the unwritten. They didn't know, but they said that the really old books, like in the history section, and what I forget already what the other one said was literature, and the history and the literature sections might know something.
Oh, perfect. Well,
Might have heard.
Shaw suggested we go check out the history section, so we
Perfect.
can go there first.
did Shantano climb up as well, or are you doing something else?
No, Shantano shattered into pieces and kind of flew up.
Yeah. You're actually Shantano makes it up there first, just reassembles, so you make your way. You start making your way across the perilous high cliffs of the library.
All I can see in my head right now is like the gorge of eternal peril from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like, it just
There are
hears
several of those in this library.
da-da-da-da music as we are like crossing these bridges.
Yeah, lots of rope bridges to cross. Very sort of Indiana Jones Temple of Doom type bridges. So you start heading off, roughly in the direction that not quite in the same direction, but sort of roughly in the same sort of where you're going to end up, probably in the vicinity of wherever that pterodactyl was. And I'm now going to zoom outside the frog as we try to figure out what's been happening in the tracking down of this criminal. And I'm going to draw another card as we're pulling out here. The card, what I have drawn, I should probably click on so that I can see what it is. There it is. Really? Is that what it is? The card is the empty gallows. Which is ups the pale, and pale is up, green is down. It's a notions card. It means rescue, salvation, solution, favorable judgment, and escape. The gallows claims no victory today. Today we are granted a reprieve, or we make an escape, or someone rescues us. Whatever the reason, the threat is gone. The problem is solved. The empty gallows brings a feeling of relief, of gratitude, and newfound purpose.
this card sounds like failure.
It does, doesn't it? That's the weird part. But it's funny, you were about to pursue a criminal.
Well, by proxy.
By proxy, yes, this is true. The angel was what, level 6?
Yes.
Okay. So you're in the bar. There was the frog, and there's some sort of yelling, very fast yelling started coming out of the frog, closed its mouth. and so that you don't have to worry about hearing that anymore. As this train is moving along, let me see. It's a level 6 being. Let me see what level once again the thief is. That's very interesting. That is very close. Mac, are you doing anything to assist the angel in any way, or is this just basically you go do it?
Yeah,
You
it was
tell it you
basically
go do it?
you go do it.
Okay. Let's see. So there's a point where, let me see, you are in, just want to make sure I've got everything as far as the location goes. You're in the parlor car, I believe. Yes, you are. Okay. Sort of hanging out, drinking as one does. I believe I think the Duchess went back to her car, if I remember right. So you're just basically in here drinking with a few folks, and I think you're going to. As you know, things chug along for a little while, as they're wont to do, and so it's a little time goes by, and the train I think is going to hit its next scheduled stop while this is going on. As I quickly attempt to pull up the map again, so that I can see what that stop was. Let me see if I have just the one file of the map, because that will make my life so much easier. Going there. Map? Are you here, map? No, you are not. You have failed me, map. You have not appeared at where you're supposed to be. Okay, in that case, we go over here. Here it is. I thought I had it as its own file. Okay. So let's see. You already stopped at, I think, at Tev Abius. I think. Or it was either that or it was the next one.
Pretty sure we did.
Yeah. I think you did. But I will have it right here, just in case. So the city much smaller. Yes, that's right. Yes, you did. That's where they where the migrating buildings. Okay, got it. Yeah. So the next stop, and it's actually it's getting pretty late in the day at this point, and it's going to turn over to night soon. But the train is pulling into this thing that I apparently... Did I close it? I guess I did. All right. Train is pulling into Maloon. And that is a small city atop a hill surrounded by fertile fields of wheat and vegetables. Easily dismissed as a farm town, Maloon is built around a powerful magical site called the Cradle, sought for rituals and summonings by a variety of Vizsla. It's run by a council of elders. So yeah, basically you see you actually, the train itself, so you're kind of in the hills right now, basically. And you see what looks, you see looking out the window sort of farmland. When the train comes to a stop, you see him, sort of the angel appear once again. They slide in and in through the side door and just sort of settle down for a second and looks over at you. He is cornered in the garden car, but there is some difficulty in extracting him, as he's gotten entangled in a plant that does not wish to give him up.
Can he still talk?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, this actually works out very well. Would you mind leading me to them?
Very well. And he sort of looks over, and he kind of, and you will kind of look over at, he kind of looks from you to the bar and back again.
Well, we can bring a drink. I don't think that'll be an issue.
Oh, very
He'll
good.
go to the bartender, and he'll lean in and tell the bartender, can you open up a tab and put it under the Duchess's?
Yeah, the bartender saw you in here with the Duchess earlier, so just sort of assumes.
Yeah, so I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Much appreciated. And just so you know, this angel been of great help to the Duchess, so get him whatever he wants until midnight.
The angel nods. Just sort of looks at the bartender fiercely, and the bartender does not wish to gainsay what you have said. So the angel then flies down through the car. He's basically hovering. They're basically hovering as they head out. Not really bound by anything as silly as doors or anything like that. And so you kind of have to, he goes through the doors, and then you actually have to open the doors to go through. But you make your way down, a few passenger cars, and then back to the garden car, where once again you see the sage, the prophet Lassia the Eye, who has turned and is arguing with this guy who is dangling upside down, kind of terrified in the corner by this by these vines that are essentially that are coming from this little sort of like this tree that's like dangling you upside down, kind of like, it looks sort of like the Hanged Men, the image of the on the tarot card right now, and you see that his coat It is fallen up, and lots of stuff is a little more stuff has fallen out of his pockets. You emptied his pockets before, but he apparently acquired more stuff in the intervening time.
Oh, well then.
A couple of pairs of handcuffs and things like that from the stewards, and he's like, "Listen, I didn't mean to be any. I didn't have anything to do with it. I don't know nothing." And she's like, "You are seriously harshing my vibe here, and I want you out now." I would if I could move, lady. I really would.
Mac is just going to turn to the angel and it's like, so as an angel of justice, do you prefer being the good cop or the bad cop?
I am all cops.
So are you saying that we should just do a bad cop routine? Because my associates aren't here, and Max starts pulling out some gloves and snapping them on.
And he looks and he says, "Justice will be served." He's actually starting to remind you a little bit of the way that you were behaving back when you'd had a hit of pure justice back at the party.
Oh yeah, those were the days. so Mac is just going to interrupt. I'm like, well, fancy meeting you here. If you don't mind, my associate and I would help. Would like to speak with this gentleman.
And she's like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's just turn this car into another train station. I don't see why not." And she covers her eyes for a second, and the third eye sort of blinks for a second. She's like, "All right, yes, fine. Very well. We'll get him out of my hair, then certainly." She actually has a somewhat different demeanor from when you were in here last. It seems this has rattled her a little bit, and she's not behaving like the very relaxed mystic that she was behaving like when you were here last.
So Mac is going to take a sip of his drink, and says, "Oh, well, I'm glad that we encountered each other because we have unfinished business."
Look, man, you got all your stuff back. I didn't have nothing to do with anything else, all right?
Yeah, no, I want to know a couple of things. One, who are you working for? And two, why did you stop the car?
Let's see. So he's just sort of here he is dangling. So he's like, I'll do this for a living, okay? This is what I do, okay? This was a long train ride. Just figured I'd, pick up a few things.
Oh, is that all? So you're working alone, are you?
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Look. I can give you something. I can give you something good. I can give you something good if you want to let me go.
Well, no, I'm just gonna... You're not in any position to bargain. I'm just gonna take whatever I see here on your person. And he motions over to the angel to empty out all of this
The
guy's
angel's like-
inventory.
And that's how he says. And the guy is, and I have actually no idea if I had him talking like this last time, but it's been 2 weeks and my brain can't hold it. He's like, no, look, and he's dangling upside down. You know, everyone knows your accent changes when you dangle upside down. And he says, no, look, no, I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about information. I saw something, and I can, and I think it's something. I think you're gonna find it interesting.
Okay, well, why don't you talk while my associate here relieves you of possessions that you do not actually own any rights to.
The angel just sort of goes forward and just basically puts out a hand, and you see objects just fly out of the man's pockets. Those few things, and it's not a lot because he didn't have a lot of time to pick stuff up, but he did have some. It's like pairs of socks and stuff. And spoons, items of silver. And actually, one of the last things that, and you know, as this is going on, he's like, look, how do I know you're gonna keep your word? Actually, you ain't even promised nothing yet. No, I can't go just spilling this stuff if you're gonna, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do after this?
I am going to, after this, I will probably let you go. And if you don't start talking, though, I'm going to let you go with a lot of bruises. And just to iterate his point, he just starts cracking his knuckles.
Yeah, at this point, the angel has, like, yanked away all the possessions and basically folded them into some kind of extra-dimensional space where he's
it's an extra-dimensional lost and found.
Yeah, basically. This guy, knowing that he's not really in a position to be able to bargain here, is like, you know, he's just like, actually, at this point, Lassia just sort of leans back and says, "Hey, look, Look, pal, you get off the train after this and you do not get back on. Do you understand? I will know if you are lying." And he says, "Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. And she nods slowly. All right, he's telling the truth.
Oh, good.
And he said, Okay. I notice. All right, so your people were keeping an eye on them those midnighters, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I see where they're holding out. And they've been and what they've been planning. And I think I heard him say when they're going to do it.
All right, go on.
So all right, they're back in. They're hiding out. Or it is they're prepping. I think that where they're going to be is that they've been drawing chalk circles and stuff on a back wall of one of the boxcars. All right, and they're doing a ritual, some kind. Looked to me like it was just something to affect the luck of everybody. And They're saying they were going to pick somebody to throw off the train tomorrow at midnight.
Well, I guess they're in character.
It's well, they say there were one bloke was nervous about it too. I don't know what his deal was, but yeah, they're gonna do it tomorrow at midnight, when the train's on the move, and apparently it's something where they get some kind of dark blessing, right? And it just sort of, and apparently is going to put some kind of a little curse on people on the train.
Well,
And then they were all sent, and everything they were doing, it did look like something that was key to it was they were sending around this silver urn that they had set down. Looks like that thing looked like I tried. I was wanting to swipe it, but I couldn't get close enough.
why couldn't you get close enough?
Well, I was hanging out in the rafters, right, of that car, but you only get so you only get the area around it. There wasn't nowhere to hide. I couldn't have the little fella do it. Because he wasn't, because they'd even seen him.
Little fellow.
Nothing, never mind.
Mac is gonna punch this guy in the gut.
Yeah! Thought you weren't gonna harm me.
I said I was probably not, but now you're withholding something.
All right, fine. I got, I'm a Vizsla, right? I got, like yourself, I got some magic. I got a little guy, a little version of myself. I can conjure up to do stuff. It's about 3 inches tall.
So you can summon a clone of yourself? A sentient clone?
Yeah, basically.
Like a mini you?
Yeah, it's about 3 inches high.
Oh. Okay. It's just weird that you would refer to this person as, or, the little guy, as opposed to just you. But fair enough. So which box car are they in? And how many of them are there?
There are 4 of them. And they're in the last one.
Is someone always in that car?
Well, since they started the ritual, yeah. Usually they leave at least one of them behind to do whatever they're chanting they're doing around the urn. Keeping a strict eye on that thing.
Oh. All right. And is there anything else that I need to know?
I mean, not that I'm aware of. I mean, they just, that's what they said they were going to curse folks on the train. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm perfectly fine getting off it right now. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather not be cursed if it can possibly help.
Well, that is very fair, I suppose. All right. Mac is going to start looking at the plant to see how to untangle him.
It is a ponderous tangle of vines, and it looks kind of, to a certain extent, it's a hanging tree, but it kind of moves around, sort of. It's probably not sentient, per se. It's not. it's not sapient, I should say. It's like it's a living thing, but it's not like a very, like hugely intellectual thing. But yeah, it seems like it's more a question of just calming the tree down than anything else.
Oh, okay. Mac will just turn to the sage. I'm like, oh, great. I'm done with this guy. What's the best way to calm down this tree?
I actually have a... I think, there's... I've got some tea here, actually, that it seems to like. And she pulls out, from amongst her, 9 million tea packets that she has. She has this little kettle that is... Sorry, I just heard some... Did anybody hear that, by the way? That was the sound... Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Someone wouldn't mind vamping for just a second. I just want to make sure that nothing has crashed into anything. I'll be back in just a second. Hang on just a second.
So what kind of tea do you think you give a tree to calm it down?
Chamomile, maybe?
Maybe. Like tree nip? Like catnip, but more arboreal nip?
Yeah. I think the image of giving a tea or a tree drinking tea is kind of weird. It's like you're drinking the essence of your distant relatives, I guess, condensed and infused into water.
I mean, plant genetics are weird, so one could argue that the tree's probably not that closely related to tea plants.
It's all made of weed. Just like the blood of your enemies will make you stronger.
Well, that was incredibly strange. But it's, whatever it is, it's not in view of my balcony, so.
Somebody else's problem, then.
Somebody else's problem, yes. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Sounded like they were doing drift racing or something in my apartment complex.
There's a guy in my neighborhood who screeches by frequently, usually at like 1 a.m. because he's the worst. So, maybe it's just his cousin.
Could be. That was weird. Okay, sorry. Yes, tree. Tea for the tree. I'm now also hearing this high beeping sound that I don't know where it's coming from. But actually, I'm hearing it over the mic, so over the headphones. So hopefully everything's okay. Yay, chaos. She basically gets this. She dunks the tea bag in, and she will hand you this cup and saucer.
Oh, okay. And Mac will just look at it and just shrug, and he's just going to hold up the saucer and look for a tray, I guess, like a serving tray.
Yes, there's one here.
Yeah, so he'll pick the serving tray and he'll put the tea on it and go all butlery up to the tree and says, "Do you care for a spot?"
The tree just sort of shivers for a second, and then it's one of its branches comes down, and just sort of instinctually, a couple of it's like a vine and a branch sort of both come out and sort of are waving back and forth, and instinctually they seem to grab the cup and the saucer and lift it up and pull it in to this mass of vines. and you hear this strange, almost like a slurping sound, and the vines start undulating and thickening a little bit. And the guy's like, ah, ah, and then you see that uncurling, and it lets him go, and he falls to the ground.
Okay.
He's like, oh, thank Vizsla. And he just sort of springs back up, and but he sees that the angel is now like basically pointed at him, just looking down, and he's like, all right, and he steps quickly out of the tree habitat as this tree continues slurping its tea. And he just sort of is backing up, and the angel says, "You will depart now. This is your stop." And he's like, starts backing toward the door. And the angel is just continuously matching him. And eventually, once he gets to the door and sort of opens it behind him, he's like, I don't want to be on this bloody train anymore anyway. You fucks out your minds. And he says, good luck with the Midnighters. And he dashes off. You can kind of see out of the train. He's running away from the train. The angel is staying out there for a moment to watch. So he's running across the field towards the little city on the hill.
Oh, well, that was fun. And Mac just removes his gloves. I'm glad my associates weren't there to see that.
And the angel says, it was justice.
Sure. Now let's go empty the bar.
And so you head out at this point. The Lassia finally sighs, and she says, thank goodness. All right, and she is, as you can tell, she's wrapping her scarf back around herself and trying to regain composure as her some folks are are coming in for her evening shift to get their fortunes told. You head back to the bar, and you and the angel proceed to begin drinking most of it. I'm going to flash back inside the frog now. As this has been going on. So you have made your way over many perilous chasms of books.
We were just on the Monty Python intermission music.
Yeah.
While everything else happened.
In the middle of one of the bridges, that's when the intermission kicks in. Across many perilous book chasms, library chasms, and you finally have made your way. You're in a sort of this strange sort of. You're in a section of the library now where you start to hear what sounds like rushing water. And you've come across now, and you see one of the shelves in the distance has this waterfall coming down from it.
I have some distinct concerns about the conservation concepts in this library.
And you see the pterodactyl sort of sitting perched nearby it. And they're apparently, you're getting this kind of this Land of the Lost vibe a little bit from this part of the library, as you're right in the historical section.
And you another card catalog.
You do, yes. There's a card catalog. Right on the nearest card catalog you can see is just across one more bridge. On the end of that same shelf that the pterodactyl is sitting on.
Oh no, we're going to have to pass the pterodactyl. It's either. Why do I feel like it's going to ask us a riddle or something?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
It's just a pterodactyl, right? It's just like a bird.
I guess. Maybe just move slowly and not any sudden movement. Right?
Yeah,
And
it
you-
looks big.
And at this point, Sagan says, "No, I don't care what they say. That thing's nothing like a bird."
Maybe it escaped from a book.
I mean, I know we're the same thing supposedly, but no, just no. Yeah, maybe.
Vor's
Most
probably got a
dangerous-
hand on her sword cane just in case.
Hope the most dangerous thing in the library would be the books themselves.
You'd think, but
I mean, certainly there's quite a lot of books in here, and if you think about the last time we were in a library, there must be books that haven't been tended to properly, and who knows what could happen.
This whole place could go up.
This could go up. Chain reaction.
Wow,
Chain
that would be
reaction.
really bad for the frog.
Yeah, tell me about it.
some serious indigestion.
All right.
You go ask the pterodactyl.
Let's go to the
first.
card catalog. I'll walk past the pterodactyl. It'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay,
you go first.
Yeah.
I'll be right behind you.
Pterodactyl, very dangerous. You go first.
Sure. I can get hurt any worse. I'll be the first one to walk towards the pterodactyl.
So wait, so who's in the lead across this narrow rope bridge heading toward this pterodactyl?
Shantanu.
Okay. I feel like you've already shattered yourself just to get up here, but
Sure.
Is there like a limit
Yeah.
of is there
I mean,
like a limit of?
technically, I have one more since the level up.
Oh yeah.
If that's just for the teleportation one. The other ones don't cost as much.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know, technically, I'm not supposed to put myself in danger while I'm still trying to cleanse myself, but
what could go wrong?
So just so I'm clear on this, who's going to be encountering the pterodactyl first?
If Shantanu wants to go first, I won't stop him.
yeah, I'll go first.
Okay, I'm gonna draw a card. As you approach the pterodactyl. Let's see what we... This is the best possible card you can get for this pterodactyl.
Is it the pterodactyl?
It is, no. Unfortunately, sadly, in there's a terrible oversight that in the Sooth deck they neglected to include a pterodactyl card.
I know. I'm noticing I see a swan and a raven and no pterodactyl, and it's like
Yeah.
they don't even know us.
I'm very disappointed. There is, however, a game called Predation that is full of pterodactyls. So, by that same company. So I assume they just all ended up there. The card is the Savage Sword. It's red magic. Red magic is up, blue magic is down. 3 of visions. It means war, savagery, strength, violence, brute force. The sword is a weapon of war, a metaphor for any kind of weapon one might wield. The savage sword is our basest nature, our predilection toward violence and our shameful bloodlust, but it is also our strength to overcome obstacles and foes when we need to. It is the opposite of thought, strategy, or consideration. It is immediate and decisive without hesitation or regard for consequence. The savage sword is the opposite of the revealing knife in most respects. In divination, some kind of conflict is imminent. Almost certainly blood will be shed, but this can go either way. It might be a danger to the person in question, or it might be a recommendation that they must use violence or brute force to succeed. This card can also indicate strength, or even a specific individual who is known for their physical prowess.
Separation.
So you approach the pterodactyl. As you do so, it just sort of looks. It's looking in the other direction. You get closer. How do you want to approach this?
Casually, like it's supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's just here, hanging out in the library with the pterodactyl. It's good. Okay. Yeah. So, you kind of saunter up to the pterodactyl. And at that moment, it's like trying to it's like seems to be trying to chew on something. And turns around and it sees you and it's like, "Wah!" Its long beak starts lowering down closer to you.
Is it stopping me from moving forward?
It's at the moment it's kind of, its head is a little bit in the way because it's sort of watching you. You could, like, at this point, you see the pterodactyl is just in front of you and a little to your left. If you turn right, you'll be heading, well, its neck's craned around, so you'll be heading into kind of its beak. But beyond its beak is the several more yards of shelf top and a card catalog.
Shaw pulls out her fan, and doesn't open it and says, "Should we try to make it shoo?"
Wait, do you want to try and scare her?
Well, I could wave my fan at it like a wind and maybe make it go.
That's better than hurting it.
Yeah, I don't.
Scare it away.
Oh, should I try? I'll try.
Do it.
I think Shaw opens up her battle fan and waves it to make this as big of a wind as she can at the
Okay.
pterodactyl. So
Now-
shoo!
Something that happens the moment you open that fan up comes open this big sort of, I would imagine, kind of like a peacock unfailing. Splashing from out of the waterfall comes a second pterodactyl,
Oh no.
which plows into the first. Apparently it's trying to get at this little pile of food that it has. And the two of them skid across the top of the bookcase in the direction of the card catalog, and they are fighting and biting each other.
Oh no.
And so there is this big CGI dinosaur fight happening on top of this bookshelf, as they're now biting at each other with their beaks and it's going. One of them hovers up for a second and comes down with its talons. So there's now a pterodactyl fight in between you and the card catalog. What would you like to do?
Have I managed to kill off my friend in my cage yet? So my cage is empty.
Yeah. Well, we've enough time has passed that's
Right.
certainly an option.
Awesome. Yeah, I must have rolled a 0 by now.
Yeah, if it's been at least 10 of the things of the
Yeah.
units of time,
Yes.
of the necessary units of time, then yes.
I can try and put one of these into my cage. I think that I will try to do that.
Excellent.
I don't have any of the notes open on how to do that, but that's okay. The ability is Durance Vile, and it's however, whatever the level of the creature is of sorcery, plus 1 die.
Okay. Gotcha.
So what level is a pterodactyl?
This pterodactyl, given its size and strength, I am going to say is... I'm going to call this a level 4.
Okay. I have that many sorcery. Okay, so then I roll... I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember how to do this.
Sure.
So the target number is 4, but
Yep.
I have to put 4 sorcery,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't take away from the target level, is that correct? I still
I
have to roll
think,
a 4?
yeah, I think that is
Right.
correct in this case because of, yeah.
But I get 1 extra die.
Yes.
Can I also throw a... Trying to look at what else I could throw at it. Could I also throw an interaction banner at it for trying to distract one of them from fighting enough?
Yeah, and
Or
it
like
just-
tell when one is distracted enough? Use my interaction banner to tell when one is distracted enough that I can...
Yeah, I'd say you can do that. You can basically, I mean, it would help if there were, yeah, I mean, this is an interaction that is happening. It's a very basic interaction.
Right. So then I roll 2d10 and hope. And fail!
Okay.
Cool. So I guess what this looks like is Shaw like flings forward her cage and the doors like spring open and like there's some sort of like magic that comes out and starts to pull the pterodactyl away, but it doesn't grab the pterodactyl. I don't know if it just grabs a book maybe, or it grabs I don't know.
Well,
Part of a drawer off the card catalog. I don't know.
well, what happens here is that, yeah, so you're aiming for the pterodactyl with the cage. I'm assuming, is the cage like on the end of a chain or something like that? Does it kind
Yeah,
of like
it's on
throw
a
it? Yeah.
chain that I wear around my
Yeah.
belt usually. And like when I use it, it sort of expands into a bigger cage.
Yeah. So you see it as you throw this thing out, and the cage starts sucking it in. One of these pterodactyls when it's distracted, and it's like, and it's trying to pull away, and it's fighting it. It's fighting it very hard, and the other pterodactyl scoops up its little food pile, and immediately flaps up and back in the direction of the waterfall. And as you're sort of like getting this thing hold on, at the last moment, it manages to pull out, and it's kind of like you're firing a pterodactyl out of a cannon. Because it doesn't quite make it. And yeah, the cage The cage clatters down, and a couple of books go flying into it. And this pterodactyl tumbles end over end and smashes into the card catalog.
Oh no.
And the two of them go over the side. You don't see them for a moment.
I think that Shaw like stands there for a second and then like closes the cage and it like hangs it back down and goes, oops.
Well, you
And
got
walks, like-
pterodactyls.
Yes, I suppose it was partly effective. And she sort of like clunks in her metal shoes over to the very edge that the card catalog had gone over and like looks over the edge as it just smashed in pieces down below.
Well,
I'm gonna be like, oh, I was gonna be like, I can still just ask the books.
Shaw, as you begin looking over, the pterodactyl, you see the pterodactyl come surging up just past you. The card catalog clutched in its talons.
Oh God.
In its bottom talons. Which it then immediately sort of flaps back to, and over your heads.
I
And
think I
slowly.
does it like leave? Is it just taking off with this
No.
card catalog?
No, it's not. It's lowering the card catalog down right next to the waterfall. And it's sitting on top of it now. It's like rests or stops and sits down on top of it and leers down at you all.
Oh
Rude.
no.
So I'll try to chase it away. The Chantel's gonna walk up to it and use their growth ability. It's like you see them like somehow rearranging and getting taller, like up to 12 feet tall. And as they're walking up to the pterodactyl, just trying to shoo it away. Shoo, shoo. Get away.
So you're trying to intimidate this pterodactyl.
Yes.
All right. So this is a difficulty of 4. And you're using this spell as part of it, so I will let you roll 2 dice if you want, since you're kind of using magic to help you intimidate it.
I can use 2.
If you, I think that's right.
There's anything I can do to change that, to decrease the difficulty, right?
Yeah. What do you want to throw in on this?
Would physicality work?
Well, yeah, because you're trying to look big. You're trying to look menacing.
So how much, when I do that, how many do I have to add in?
How many physicality? I think that it's just the one, isn't it?
Yeah. You can only add 1 bene.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll bring it down by just the one, right? Yeah.
Unless you have the
Yeah.
expansive endeavor
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll bring it down to a 3.
Yeah, I don't think any of my skills work against this. I don't know where
You don't have pterodactyl wrangling?
Fortunately, no. Wasn't one I picked up. Alright, let's hope for 3s and no 0s.
Okie doke. Oh yes. You're very successful. And So yeah, you basically you're like shoo shoo. It's like and it just sort of snaps at you once, and just sort of looks at you. And it's just like it shakes its head, and then it gets up, shakes its head. It leans down behind the card catalog to a space near the waterfall. It picks up a book, and it puts on a little pair of glasses, and then it turns and it flies away. You now have access to the card catalog.
I'll pick it up away from the waterfall and bring it to them. I think we should have just talked to it.
It was fighting over food. I don't think that it's a really good negotiator.
It has glasses, and I think it reads.
Not everything that reads is reasonable.
Or just
But reading implies it understands language. Which means we could talk to it.
no,
Fine. I'm
to
sorry.
understand language
Talk
or
to the
intelligence.
pterodactyl.
I'll go talk to the Aerodactyl. Aroshka will talk to anything. I will go talk to the Aerodactyl.
You want to talk to the pterodactyl?
Oh, go talk to the pterodactyl.
It's now perched on the far shelf on the opposite side of the waterfall, sort of sitting in the corner and reading right now.
Well, I'll just yell across it and be like, I'm really sorry about that. It was an accident, sort of. You're very cool.
Is there something you want to get out of this pterodactyl at this point in particular?
No.
Or you want to see what it does?
Just talking to the
It's
pterodactyl.
like, it looks at you, it just sort of turns its head, it's like,
Like, okay. Well, I don't think it talks. But I do think it understood that. That's useful information.
Okay, so you can
Roshka,
talk.
are you going to talk to the books then?
Yes, I'm going to find a really old looking book. Or scroll or cuneiform tablet or what have you. And I'm basically going to say the same thing. This might be a really weird question to ask a book, but have you ever heard of the Unwritten?
One moment. Is anyone actually looking at the card catalog, or is
Or
there?
is, yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious.
As soon as we got the pterodactyls to move, Vor went for the card catalog.
Okay. Okay. Let me just do a quick thing here. Okay. So you find this, it's a scroll. And it looks up at you. And says, it's the Unwritten. It's been some time since I've heard tell of them. But it is blasphemy usually to speak of them. But so I think that I think that the one who would know most here is me. And actually, Jim realizes that there would be a. Jim needs to actually conjure a name for this thing. Because. Yeah. Yes, I believe the story of I believe the story of the hunter is probably the one who would know most about the unwritten. He's also called I believe they subtitled it a while back, The Art of the Bow.
Is it nearby?
I believe they filed him a few shelves down. I'm not exactly sure where they've put him at this point. I haven't seen him in centuries.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll go consult the card catalog.
Ah, very well. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I see that. Oh, yes, I see the librarian moved it.
Oops.
Is the pterodactyl the librarian?
Oh, one of them, yes.
Oh, oops. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything I can do for you before I go?
When you put me back in the shelf, could you put me in the other way?
Oh, sure.
I've been for the last 50 years. I'm afraid it's been a bit it's been a bit difficult to and I've had this difficulty around the left roller, and it hasn't been getting enough light. I think enough exposure, and other ones gotten all dusty.
Carefully flip it around and delicately put it back in place.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll go back up. Be like, we're looking for a book called The Hunter. The Art of the Bow might know something.
Do I see anything that matches that in the card catalog?
You see a number of things that could match it. There is research now happening. And you're in the right section for it. You are filing through. You get it narrowed down to there are about 3 different titles that they're the same title. It's the story of the hunter. It's the same story, right? The story of the hunter, the art of the bow. The tale of the hunter, the art of the bow. One of them is the story of the hunter. Another one is and the other 2 are the tale of the hunter.
Did you say story or tale, Oroshka?
I, Arras, don't remember which was the correct one, but
It was tale.
Tale.
Or it was now. Jim can't even remember really, but
Whatever.
He's
It's
saying
correct.
tale.
Because we said so.
That's right.
All right, I will choose whichever one is the correct one based on what Oroshka tells me.
There are 2 that say the tale of the hunter.
Did the book you talked to give any indication of version? I waved the 2 different cards in the air.
No, it didn't. Whichever one is older, probably.
Did the cards list the publication date?
Yes. The weird thing about one of them, actually, now that you're looking at the publication dates and comparing, one of them has a negative publication date.
Well, I'm guessing this one's older. When I point to the publication date. Maybe?
Or not yet published.
Oh, that could be.
Well, why don't we just find them both?
All right, let's. Here, I'll hand I'll hand the negative one to Shah.
Okay.
I also found out that apparently the pterodactyl's the librarian.
Oh, well, I guess I won't be getting a library card here then, I suppose.
I look
Sorry,
over the
librarian.
sorry. And then I guess I'll go look for this. I'll look for the non-negative published date one.
Okay.
Is there like a numbering system on the card that tells us?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually are able to. You've been through these shelves enough now that you'll be able to find these. The one they're actually, it's the same section, but the one that Vor is looking for is on the third level. The one that has the negative year publication date is on the ground level. Actually, seems to be the ground level. It's actually, now that you're looking at it again, it actually says -1
Oh no.
for the level.
Okay.
Can you take the ladder through the floor?
Yes. Is there a is there a more convenient way down other than the ladder? Is there a pole or a slide or something else inadvisable that I can use to get down? I mean,
There's a
probably
pterodactyl here. I don't
pterodactyl.
know if they'll get you.
I think I'll skip the pterodactyl ride. Shaw will just climb. Will put the card in her mouth and climb down the ladder.
Yep.
Okay.
Vor will go after Shaw because Shaw has farther to go.
Okay. Heading down. Heading down. Still heading down.
I take a break and pull the card out, and I ask Sagan if he could scout ahead and see if there's like a way to get below the floor.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a look. Flap, 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 flap. Going down. Going down. Vor will reach the place where the third level, and make it down there. And you see, there's actually a place you can walk along the front of the shelf. The shelves actually extend out. They're kind of like little balconies. So you don't fall and kill yourself. So you actually can. You don't have to try to reach it from the ladder. These are sort of these walkways basically along the fronts of the shelf faces. Third. Okay, yeah. Level 3 is, it's not the third shelf, but the third case. Yeah. Anyway, third story. So you're walking along, you see that the book is not there. It is, you find the exact space where it is supposed to be. There is a gap for where that book is, or where that book should be. Shaw, you've been continuing down, and you get to the floor, and Sagan is sitting there on one of the shelves. He's just sort of like, I had to look around, and there's something. There's a thing, right? But it's not, I couldn't physically, I don't think a physical being could do it normally. There's a floor under here. I know there's a floor under here. Because I could see it. But
you have to go through the floor to get there?
There's a way, it's like it's in a slightly different kind of space, sort of, but not. It's same space, different space. How do people say this? There's probably a way you can access it. There's some magical way you can access it. You got to do something to get in there.
Takes me a long time to make doors.
I don't know if you want to make a door necessarily, but there might be a way you can I mean, is there a way you could make it so that the space that you're standing in is the opposite of the space that you're standing in? Something like that.
Well,
It's kind of like that. Sorry, go ahead.
are you saying that we just need to flip the whole thing upside down?
Maybe. Yeah, that might work.
Maybe there's a button.
Yeah, they probably put a mechanism in there somewhere. I mean, they're pterodactyls, for goodness sake. They wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
they'd need a mechanism if they want to get at that shelf.
Shaw will immediately start checking all over the shelf for any kind of a mechanism or a sign of a machine or something she can make sense of.
Okay. Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point, Kat. I should draw another card. Let me draw one more
Clear
card.
input.
It's appreciated. Yes, no, I'm doing it right now. Let the cat know I'm doing it right now.
Mrs. Mother looked at me. I must scream. It's his reaction to most things.
Wow. Okay.
What did you draw?
You want to know what I drew?
No.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. I drew the endless maze.
I knew it. Like, I'm literally looking at the list of cards, right? The suit deck on my laptop, and I was like, I bet it's the endless maze.
Cursed.
Good news, everyone. I drew the endless maze.
Oh, great.
It's
That's what Soot thinks of that.
blue magic up, red magic down. It's a secrets card. Its meanings are journey, long spans of time, insanity, and inner turmoil.
Wow.
Just as a reminder, as within, so without. The maze that traps you, slows your journey, forces you to double back, and leads you where you don't want to go. Might be a physical maze, or it might be your own decision, self-criticism, or self-doubt. To get where you need to go, we need to go, or do what we need to do. We have to conquer the mazes we find ourselves in. In divination, to succeed, one must undertake a long journey. This is an ill-met card. At best, it indicates there is much to do, but even then the process is long, likely because it's difficult, confusing, or maddening. The traveler will get lost. One will be caught within the worst labyrinth of all, one's own tumultuous mind. So, you're gonna find a, So here's what you find.
I'm so scared. If I find a button and fall in an oubliette, I'm just gonna...
You find it's actually underneath a panel set into the side of the bookcase. The thing is, when you find it, Sagan finds another one at the same time in the bookcase across from you at this intersection. And the panel inside, and this is kind of high up, but you're able to reach up and get it. It's a pretty big panel. And each panel has this weird, underneath, these look like these weird sort of sliding stone blocks. Kind of almost like, when you do those picture puzzles.
Picture puzzles, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one piece missing. Both of these have that.
Okay. Are they the same pictures?
Yeah, right now, what you're looking at is it looks sort of like a Mobius strip is what the picture is of. It's kind of like one. It's not one exactly, but it's very similar in principle. A thing that it's a sort of So again, just for folks in the audience who may not be familiar, it's a thing it's a strip that's that turns at some point, and it's the inside is the outside. I'm not describing this very well, but if you go along the outside long enough, you'll end up inside, and vice versa, essentially. And that's what you're seeing at first glance. That they're both assembled pictures.
I'm going to use the empty piece to basically move the whole thing in a spiral to get everything around and right back to where it started.
So, as you begin moving the pieces, you hear this sort of these sort of sounds of stone scraping against stone, big cavernous sounds, and everyone who's up on the shelves feels like they're moving.
Sorry, friends.
Or clings to the ladder.
So you can do it. You can move the things around, and everyone's like, clinging on.
I think if I notice that I'm actually physically
You do.
moving the shelf that
You
my
do.
friends are on, I will be like, maybe you should come down before I do this.
1 second. So you said the book that I came for is not here.
That is correct.
I would like to try to recall it back to its spot.
By what means do you wish to do that?
So I would like to use my weaver magic, and I'm thinking of weaving movement from fire and probably gravity from diamond, because this is like its spot, so I want to draw it back here.
Okay. Movement and gravity. Okay. Under the assumption that are you under the assumption then that it's been misfiled? Is that what we're going with?
I'm thinking either maybe it was misfiled or maybe it's been checked out. I don't know. I don't know if this library lends things or not, but I want to recall it.
Okay.
And that is a thing libraries do. They do recall books.
They do recall books. That's true. So you're.
There's probably a procedure for this, but Vora doesn't have time to find it.
I love that you're using magic to try to hurry a procedure. Okay, let me open the thing so that I can get you a level here. Let's see. Here we go. Yay, I actually found the table without without it taking forever. What we're looking to do is teleport the book back, basically, right?
More or less, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, I think I would normally set this at probably like, because you have no idea where it is, and so you're trying to pull it back from a random from wherever it is.
That is
Normally
correct. I assume this will be easier if it's still in the library, but possibly very difficult if it is not.
Normally, I would set this at a difficulty of like 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because of where the book is right now,
Mm-hmm.
I am setting the difficulty, the level. I would set the level at 3, because and it's it's kind of the same thing here, isn't it? Because of where this book is, this will need to be a level 5.
Okay.
Not undoable.
So, can I use my skill in understanding magic that lies outside codified practices here?
Yes, you can.
Cool. So that will get me to a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably about as good as this is going to get, really. Unless I spend, I'll spend a sortilege bene.
Okay.
To get me to a 3.
Righto.
And then I shall roll for it.
And here we go.
No! How have we had all double rolls today?
It's happening a lot, isn't it?
What? Is there like a bug in roll 20?
I don't know. Well, Eric, what's happening? No. So,
Apparently not.
a card appears in your hand.
Okay.
This book has been checked out. Please check back later.
Everyone hears Vor swearing very loudly.
You've got basically, you've got essentially sort of a listing on the card of, there's something. If you believe this has been checked out in error, please see one of the librarians to, et cetera, et cetera.
Is there a way to put my name on the wait list for the book?
Yes. You have to go to the circulation desk.
Damn.
You know where the circulation desk is now because you've been looking at the maps.
Okay, well, so that's Vor's new plan.
It's
Assuming whatever Shah's doing doesn't pan out, is Vor's gonna go to the circulation desk and put her name on the wait list.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hike, but you can make it. It's not a problem.
But then I'll just go the whole way to the bottom, since that's probably closer at this point, so that I'm off the shelf.
Sure. Yeah. What's everyone else doing? Is everyone else climbing down to the bottom?
No, Shantano's looking through the card catalog. Under C. It's looking for the terms conundrum and collapse.
Collapsing conundrum research. Excellent. Okay. You're in the history section too. There is a book called The Mysteries of the Collapsing Conundrum.
They're definitely going to head towards that.
It is... Yeah. That is down on... Yeah, it's like one shelf over, one set of shelves over. So you have to cross a bridge. And it's like on level 5. So you can do that, and that'll actually take you away from the two shelves that have the puzzles in them. Arushka, what are you doing? Are you staying up there? Are you heading down, or what are you doing?
I'm gonna stay up here, just kind of settling in to listen to, if any of the books are chattering or anything.
So you're staying up there?
Mm-hmm. I'm
Okay.
eavesdropping on the books.
Okay.
These books.
Are you
talk.
on the same shelf that I'm trying to turn?
I don't know. Is it the same one that we were on?
Yes.
I mean,
that was why I was yelling up.
that's where the card catalog is. If you want, you can hop over to
I
another
can move
shelf.
to another one.
Yeah.
So that you can move it and then eavesdrop over there.
Yeah. So no, you head across a bridge. You're good. I'm sorry. You're listening for what? Just so that
I'm just eavesdropping.
Okay,
If any
just
of the
on
books
what-
are-
to hear what the books are saying.
what the books are talking about.
Yeah, the books are kind of like They're actually moving that around down there. That's strange. It's been some time since that's happened. Well, it's all right though. They've got to get down there somehow. Yeah, so they're mostly talking about the. Some of them are arguing about how particular battles went ages ago, but yeah, some of them are, you hear them kind of talking about the mechanism, something, because they just got moved around for a moment. But this is as you're retreating away from them. But yes, so Shaw, you and this leaves you and Sagan down there. And what do you want to do? The areas have been cleared. The
Okay,
folks
so
have scattered to different parts of the library.
my plan of moving all the pieces around so that I basically move them in a spiral exactly back to where they started. That is what I was going to try to accomplish.
Okay. While you are doing this, I think you will probably gain insight into how this works. So I would like you to make a roll.
Okay.
This is a difficulty of... it can't be more difficult than the librarians, so it's going to be a difficulty of... I'm going to give it a difficulty of 3.
Okay. Can I apply my connection with the craftspeople?
Yes. Yes, you
Can I
can.
apply my connection with the Order of Makers?
Yes. Yes, that will work. That will work.
That lowers it to a 1?
Mm-hmm. So you need a 1 or better to...
I've been rolling so well. Shit. Nope.
So here's what happens. You do it, and there's like a moment where you're like move it into place, and you're like, no, wait, that's it. And you hear the mechanisms moving, and there's a point where it's like, no, wait, that should be the other way around. And you do it just pretty quickly. You move it and you move it in, and then you hear this sort of like... And very slowly you see this tower of shelves begin to bend. And you hear Sagan say, "Oh crap." And he's like, and he flaps out of the way. And so you know what it looks like when a series of dominoes begins falling.
Yep. I do. Is it
this
like
is
really
kind
big
of-
ones like that, but full of books?
This is kind of, yeah, there's a thing where, so it's not going to go far. But your books have started raining down. And the floor is tearing up. Sections of floor are tearing up as this thing crashes into the into the tower across from it, tower of shelves, which crashes into the one across from it. And then at about the 4th one, it kind of stops. With these loud bangs. You hear pterodactyls screaming above you. And
Okay.
I will say you do notice, as the floor has torn up, you can see a row of shelves that have been exposed.
I will quickly scurry in the quaintest, fastest footsteps that I can do over to where the book should be. Upside down on the shelf.
Books are upside down on the shelves. You're scurrying over. The pterodactyls are circling. They're coming for you, but you're going to try and grab this book.
Yep.
I'm going to ask this will be, once again, a difficulty 3, as you're trying to do this really fast, and you want to make sure you grab the right one. These are stone tablets that you're pulling from.
Okay, I am going to add a physicality bene.
Okay.
So that brings it to a 2.
Gotcha.
And I got a 2.
Awesome. Sagan was sort of sitting up there on the new perch that's been created from a piece of floor, and he was just like, "Yeah, I think maybe we were supposed to do both of them at once." I
think maybe now's not the time to analyze this.
Good point. You grab this stone tablet that is once again the tale of the hunter, the art of the bow. You have the book.
Judging by the state of the pterodactyls, is now a point where I should run quickly out of a frog?
It might be.
Okay.
Now, in truth, you haven't checked it out yet, so there may be consequences.
Like they're not gonna give me a library card.
They probably will not.
Yeah, I have a library card for another library, so maybe it'll auto-process as an interlibrary loan. That's what Shaw is gonna hope for, and she's gonna yell at her friends.
And I mean,
we should go! And then she's gonna book it for the door of the frog.
So to speak. Dashing toward the frog mouth. What's everyone else doing? Actually, Vor, you have made it to the circulation desk.
Oh, cool.
When you hear this.
Is there time enough for me to get a library card?
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, the pterodactyl behind the desk is going to processing your library card, and is basically like, did you give her the card for which book you want?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's like, and she slides out a thing for you to sign.
Okay, yeah, I'll sign it.
And this is even as you hear this smashing in the background.
I love the sound of like the shelves are falling over in the background.
She doesn't seem to
quiet music as Vor is getting her library.
Yeah. And she just again, you hear it very faintly in the background. The librarian's like,
I know. I can't take them anywhere.
And this is a slightly smaller pterodactyl. It does fit behind the desk. So you're doing that. I'll come back to you in just a second. Shantanu and Aroshka, when you hear this commotion and you see this commotion and what Shantanu, you are at your book. You're not on one of the shelves that's affected, but you hear this chaos going on behind you. And you see this book in front of you on level 5 that is The Mystery of the Collapsing Conundrum. It's this gold leaf bound book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I assume you're going to grab it and start. Are you going to start heading out, or are you?
So Shantanu, I'm guessing if Shantanu, this is actually pretty close to Shantanu, just not affected by it, right?
Yeah.
So Shantanu would turn towards the noise and be like, "Oh my!"
You can kind of look out and you can see the shelves falling over.
And then he takes out the book and starts flipping through some of the pages. And slowly walks over to wherever the circulation desk is.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna head toward you're gonna saunter your way to the circulation desk. Eroshka, what are you doing when this goes down?
I'm going to very casually head in the direction of the exit.
Yeah, you just basically, oh, nothing to see here. You're good.
Oh wow! I've suddenly decided to leave.
The books nearby are panicking. They're like, oh God, they broke the mechanism. Why did they do that? We'll never get to the negative level.
I'm going to be really casual, but I'm also going to be like, I'm sorry. It's just all of the books on the way out.
They're a little distraught, but they'll be okay. So, as Shaw is bolting for the exit, and Aroshka is trying to casually move toward the exit, and Shantanu is sauntering up to the desk. Vor. You get to this list that you get to sign. You get to sign your name at the on the first open space for reserving the book, so that you can see when that and you see this list of people who have been checking it out.
Yep.
And the name of the last person who checked it out, so apparently is the person who has it right now.
Yep.
Is Manfred.
Oh dear.
And I believe that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
Oh no.
Wait, do I get arrested trying to leave the library?
In the chaos. No, in the chaos right now, you're going to come plunging out of the frog. So you're okay, actually.
Cool. That's all I want to know is that I've successfully tumbled out of a frog.
They don't have a system in place to automatically prevent you from. There is security, but the thing is that they're kind of busy right now because you broke the library.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the last thing we see is kind of Mac and the Angel sitting drinking at the bar, and this frog quickly just opens its mouth, and Shaw comes tumbling out, and they just sort of look down at you. The Angel shrugs and goes back to drinking.
I claw my way up to the bar and say, "I would like a whiskey neat," and sit down in the bar.
Drink comes down.
Productive trip. Mac is just sitting there. Oh, productive trip.
Not. Maybe. I look at the tablet and drop it, and there's a plume of dust. Go, I guess so. I just down this whiskey.
Yeah. He's a little whiskey with a little ice cube with a train in it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through our end of session thing real quick, where we check up on our joy and despair. Let's see.
Wow, I wonder.
I have to wonder, as I do. Shaw, do you think, Djinnaya, do you think that you might have gotten a joy or a despair today?
I think I'm disappointed I can't get two despair. One for breaking the library and another one for failing to catch a pterodactyl.
Right.
But I'll just take the one despair for both.
Right, despair for you. So, Wilde, did Shantano do anything to gain joy or despair today, do you think?
I don't think they got either.
Okay. All right. And Arras, do you think you did, Eroshka did anything to get joy or despair today?
I mean, I don't think anything in particular. I talked to more objects, but I've been doing that a lot lately.
This is true. All right. Cool. And now over to Mac. Anino, do you think Mac did anything to get joy or despair today?
Oh yeah. I think he got a joy for getting important information about the Church of Midnight.
He did actually, very much so. You know exactly what they're up to now. Well, almost exactly.
And he punched a defenseless man. So.
That's right. So I mean, win-win, really.
Justice.
Justice. And finally, for Vor, Danielle, do you think Vor got?
I would say Vor takes a despair for learning that the library book she wants is currently in the possession of Manfred, because she knows that Mac and Manfred have a thing, and that Manfred is a quite the opponent, shall we say?
This is true. All right. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. Thank you all very much for watching. This episode was a delight for me. Just getting back into it. I do miss when we don't get to do Invisible Sun. It's very cool when we get back to it. And we're going to go around the opposite direction. Feel free to say where folks can find you and any final thoughts on this session. And we start again with Danielle.
Hi, everybody. I'm at Raconteur on Twitter. You can find me there, where I talk about all kinds of nerdy things, games, books, cosplay, any of those topics. Normally, you can catch me on Friday nights on Roll for Change with Dresden Files RPG game that I'm in. We are currently between seasons, but season 3 should be starting up soon. When we last left my character, she blacked out and apparently did something terrible, and I have no idea what it was. So that'll be really fun whenever we come back. Also, normally on Roll for Change earlier on Saturdays for Star Wars. Again, we're between seasons, but in like another week or two, you can find me there once we start up again.
Very cool, very cool. Any final thoughts about the session?
I'm just really enjoying our train ride, honestly. This has been the most entertaining train ride, I think, ever in the history of anything. And also, I'm really happy that Vor has a library card now. I just put that in her inventory.
Yeah. You
I
know,
hope that comes in handy later.
you now have access to that library, which is very cool. All right, now let us head over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Catch me tomorrow on this channel again at 7 p.m. Eastern time or so for Dark Matter. Should be fun. Last thoughts about this game. Yeah, so a lot happened. I kind of regret that I wasn't in the library to enjoy all that chaos. But yeah, so we'll see how things shake out next week.
Indeed. I did like that sequence, though, of just going and shaking down the the thief and finding out the stuff. It was very good. It was very cool. And now over to Arras.
Hello, I am Arras, or Animus Panthera. You can find me at Animus Panthera and Animus.Panthera practically everywhere, but I'm mostly active on Twitter. We love to talk about gaming, cosplay, and animals because I'm a professional zoologist. The only place you can watch me play games on the internet is right here on Saturdays, playing Invisible Fun. Yay! And I'm giving away a set of dice every month this year. This year I'm giving away these like pearly yellow ones. There's a picture of them on my Twitter. If you go on Twitter, you can enter to win some dice. Yay! As for this session, I'm sort of sad I didn't make friends with the librarian pterodactyls.
There's still a chance.
There's an
You're still in there.
opportunity. As I casually leave, like, also, I meant it. You're cool. That was extreme level chaos. Also, we're #cursed.
It is interesting. The rolls were leaning toward failure today. And also the cards were kind of leaning toward that a bit as well. It was interesting. Okay, and oh wow, there's an insect, a very large insect in my room now that probably came in a moment ago. So hopefully I won't get stung by it and die in the next few minutes. But in the meantime, let's head over to Wilde.
Yes, hey, I'm Wilde Engineer, at Wilde Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. Aside from here, you can find me on Saturday mornings on Pro Restarters channel for some D&D in Tal'Dorei. For this session, I think I was actually surprised that Shantano wasn't the agent of chaos today.
I know, right?
It's quite nice watching just everyone else just like...
Exactly, relax.
Oh, I'm just going to read my book now.
It's very true. It was very cool. It was very cool. It was interesting, yeah, that just sort of hanging back. But you found a book you needed, so that was also good. All right, and finally, over to Djinnaya. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Fine. Yeah, fine. Hi, my name is Djinnaya, and I play good games with nice people. As far as online games, you'll just find me back here next Saturday, unless whatever bug is in Jim's room eats him before then.
Hopefully not.
And other than that, in the time in between, you can find me on Twitter talking about stuff, or you can find me on Instagram posting pictures from my studio. And yeah, I'm obviously really frustrated with my dice rolls today. And I'm a little bit mad at myself that I forgot that I had Expansive Endeavor, which I could have used for an auto success to catch that pterodactyl. But and I feel like Shaw's a little disappointed she didn't catch the pterodactyl, and I also feel like Shaw became more disappointed when she found out the pterodactyl was a librarian. Like, and I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, that's a little disturbing. But yeah, it was a great game. We always have good games when we go to the library.
Yes.
We could just
Libraries and cafes.
Yes, we could do an entire series of libraries and cafes and libraries, and I think it would be highly entertaining.
And we would have to travel between each cafe and library by train.
Absolutely.
We should start a travel blog.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, if I had an infinite amount of time, I would absolutely start like Shaw Gamelon's travel blog, like my adventures in the world. This is my food review of this place I went with my friends.
Awesome. Definitely approve of that. That is very cool. Well, this was a delight. But it's very, very cool getting to see how all that played out. We're gonna as he tries once again to breathe. In a moment, I'm going to leap up and try to figure out the deal with the bug. I think it came in when I went to see the people drifting outside, who I didn't get to see. But once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to, along with other stuff. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, some of the fiction and games I'm working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join the Discord. As far as stuff coming up tomorrow afternoon, we have a one-shot of One Last Fight, written by Ethan, who has been on this show, was here as a guest, who basically the one who had the wonderful lock-picking skill to help open up one of those doors on the cul-de-sac. It's a Descended from the Queen game about a group of adventurers going out to face their nemesis one last time. Sunday evening after that, we're going to once again have Dark Matter, Ghosts of Saltmaw, run by Alyssa. Ghosts of Saltmarsh in space. Something shambling toward us. Don't know what it is yet. Looking forward to finding out. On Monday night, I'm going to be over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their D&D campaign, Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. Then on Thursday, we have more of The Sprawl, run by our guest MC Brian. And then Saturday, back around to this, where we will still be on the train, but we will have progressed some. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. And currently signups are open for a couple of games. There's going to be a one-shot at the end of the month of Paranoia. Signups are still open for that. It'll be open for the next day or two before I close those and try to start casting it. Then you doing the Red Clearance edition. And then signups are also open for a short campaign of Casketland, which is going to be happening next month. On Tuesday nights. That is basically an occult western set during the end times, and a sort of isolated town cut off by canyons and monsters. So it's going to be a little campaign lit. I want to do to set there to kind of see how that game plays. So signups are still open for that. Anyone want to sign up for anything, you go down to click on RPG sign up or go to gym.com and click on game sign up. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, I am going to send a raid. I'm going to raid Scraticus, who is doing Academy Day. They're doing a game called Vault of Heaven, looks like. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That, again, will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next week. Farewell.